Hi, this is Rosalinda and welcome to Viewpoint. I am thrilled for you to be here today. We start our second season and I'm just so happy to be here at SKC TV and to have my special guest here today to launch our new season. This is Sam Williams, and Sam Williams is an SKC alumni, and I want to really thank you for coming to the show because I know that you traveled far and you're a really busy guy. And so thank you for being on the show, Sam.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. So for my viewers who don't know you, and just so that people know where you are, where you're coming from, can you tell my viewers where you're from originally?
Definitely. I was actually born and raised in Arlee. My mother is Karen Moran Williams. I was also raised by my grandparents, Alice and Ernie Moran in Arlee. So I went to high school in Arlee. Let's see, until my sophomore year. I would have been in the class of 93, but moved away for a little bit and then came back to the reservation. And so I'm enrolled here with the Confederated Salish and Kootenai Tribes. I'm alumni of, as we said, of SKC. And so. That's
great. Now, you're not living here anymore, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you are now in Portland, is that correct?
That is correct.
That's wonderful. So what made you want to move to Portland?
Actually, I was working very hard. I was working with the IT department here at Salish Kootenai College and was really working hard, but I found it very difficult for me to actually obtain some of my personal goals. And, I had completed my degree at the University of Montana years ago in marketing, and I have an AS degree from SKC. But I really wanted to go on and get an advanced degree. And I was finding it very difficult working full-time and stuff. So I started looking around for other opportunities and just kind of seeing what was out there for myself. And I was able to find a job in Portland, and I just recently started back to school for a master's in education information technology. And so everything's kind of fallen into place for me to have, really start looking at my personal goals. And it just so happened that I ended up in Portland during that process.
I want to congratulate you for pursuing your master's degree.
Thank you.
That's a very huge thing. And I know that it's something that you've been striving for to get in your life, and
Yes.
You're finally there.
Well, I'm finally in school. So, you have to, the first place to start is at the beginning, so.
Right. And you know what, I have so much, I admire people so much that they have gone through the process of getting their master's, even their associate's, bachelor's, master's to their doctorate degrees. I just admire them so much through that process because I know how hard it can be, but at the same time it's a lot of hard work, but it's fulfilling at this,
It's definitely worth it though. If it wasn't for me going to school at SKC, I wouldn't have had the doors open as they did for me in my career. I would probably still be working at a gas station, here somewhere, and just have found a job somewhere. But when I started SKC many years ago, I was an extremely shy, meek person. And really what I found here at SKC and through just obtaining my education is finding my own voice and kind of opening up as a human being and as a person and understanding that I could take on anything. And so definitely, being able to have this college here and being an alumni, I'm very proud to be an alumni of Salish Kootenai College.
Well, being connected to Salish Kootenai College, it makes me very happy to hear that coming from you because I know I love this college, and it makes me really happy to hear these really successful stories that start from Salish Kootenai College and then flourish and blossom into other areas. What does it mean to you really to be called like an SKC alumni person? What does that really mean to you?
For me, it's I love Salish Kootenai College, but for me, it's about tribal education.
Tribal education,
And
very good.
about getting, we as tribal people have opportunities like everybody else, and with the tribal colleges being present within our communities. If we didn't have these colleges embedded in our communities, we would not have the opportunities. We would have to leave, like I've done recently, but we would have to leave and go somewhere else. And then the thing is, people don't often come back. And so having, this base on the reservations is extremely important. And we are having our own people teaching our own people in our own communities. And so I think it's grounded in, the community as well. And so I'm just a big fan of the tribal education system in
That's
general.
great. Now, would you ever come back?
I would. I really am working hard. The lofty goals of a PhD. So we will see. I already get called Dr. Williams at work, but typically it's when somebody wants something out of me. If they're wanting some work, they usually walk in and say, Dr. Williams. I was like, okay, what do they want?
That's great. Wow.
But the program that I'm attending is at Western Oregon University, and it's a fully online program. So it's definitely, I have the opportunity to be flexible in my location. If I ever did want to come back, I could still obtain it. So I lucked out finding the program. It's a really great program.
That is really great. That is really great, Dr. Williams.
No, not
That
yet.
is so
Not yet.
funny. Not yet, but on his way anyway. So what is one thing in your life that really impacted you the most?
I would say there's not just one thing. I've had several things that have been major impacts in my life. My family in Arlee, growing up, my grandmother was a huge influence in my life. She really, I think, really helped me and put even skills into place to help me succeed. I was taught everything from making jellies and jams to beading, cooking, all those other things, everything I would need to succeed. And she really wanted me to go to college, and she really wanted me to move forward. My mother has been a huge supporter of me. And my grandparents and just family in general, extended family. I would say kind of coming back to the Salish Kootenai College part of it, I started at SKC. I was extremely shy, meek and mild. People don't believe it, but I was very shy. Didn't talk much. I kind of kept to myself. And I remember an instance with Lois Slater in the Michelle building, and I was walking down the hallway, and she came up to me and was like, hey, would you like to go on an internship? And I remember being a little scared and frightened because I was like, sure. And she pulled me into the room, and I was sat in front of a TV and watched an introductory video, and it was for US West. And there was some bumps getting into the internship program, but she really worked hard and really was an advocate for me to get into the program.
It's wonderful.
And I remember, growing up here and everything. Here I am, a kid from Arlee, Montana, and I am flying into DIA, never really have flown before. And I'm going to work at 1801 California, downtown Denver, Colorado, and I'm trying to navigate the bus system and the light rail and everything else, and just having no idea and concept of any of that. And I'm working on the same floor with the vice president of one of the divisions of US West. My final project for my internship was to give a presentation to the vice president of network and technology services for all of US West at the time. So really that,
wow.
Lois helped kind of plant that seed with me. I've had many other people really impact my life, but that's I remember that one point where I really was forced to go out into the world, and I was forced to kind of find my voice and participate in a larger community and realize that I can totally do this.
So here is this very shy boy, young man,
Yes.
that ended up being planted into a large city area.
Yep.
And having to experience that. You must have been scared.
I was. I was 20 years old, I didn't have a vehicle, so I remember flying in, and the person from the internship program is supposed to meet us at the airport. I don't even know where to meet him. I don't know where baggage claim is. You have to take these little, the trams and stuff to get around in DIA. And I finally found the person, and I get dropped into an apartment in Denver. And, oh, by the way, you have to start work on Monday. And I mean, it was like a sink or swim moment, really. and so, but it was an amazing experience. And really,
That's
I wouldn't
good.
have had that opportunity if Lois wouldn't have been the active person that she was with this school, if we didn't have those people. And I think that's what's great about the tribal colleges, going back to that statement again, is they know their students. It's small class sizes. They know their students, and they're really there. They want to be there to help us succeed. And I owe a lot of my success to being a student here.
That's great. Did you have a good experience going to public schools?
I went to school in Arlee. Again, I was the shy kid. I was picked on at times. I'm openly gay now. I'm an openly gay individual, and I do a lot of work in the nonprofit and advocacy and human rights. And but back then, I didn't know who I was. My identity was really cloudy, and it was a struggle. I definitely got through it. I survived. And when I went to high school in Utah, I went to high school in central Utah for my last 2 years of high school. And I remember making the conscious effort in my brain to change a little bit of who I was so I'd fit in a little bit more, but I still didn't really fit in. And so really the K through 12 was a struggle. I've since high school have become friends with a lot of people I went to school with after the fact.
Isn't that interesting? Well, that's good. Have you, as a person that has come from a small area like that, you must have been discriminated on against, I should say.
I would say that there were times, yes, but I didn't really understand why.
Okay.
And I think that's where, as an adult, I can look back and I can see, why I was discriminated against, why I was made fun of for being different.
That's good. Well, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back to Sam Williams. Thank you.
I fill my mind with knowledge and wisdom. I make decisions without alcohol or drugs. I let go of the things that hold me back. I honor my body by protecting myself. One heart, one mind, one world. HIV affects everyone. Get tested.
And we are back here with Viewpoint, and my guest is Sam Williams, SKC Alumni. Thank you, Sam, for being on the show. We were just talking a little bit about discrimination and if you had ever been discriminated when you were in your younger years in public school. And so what I wanted to ask you is, how did you combat the adversities in your life?
I would say that whole going back to finding my voice and kind of getting out into the world helped me see that there was much more out there. I didn't have to be scared. I didn't have to be, my coming out story, I remember the day that I decided to come out to my family and just be who I wanted to be. Get a little emotional, even today.
It's all right, it's part of the heart, it's part of our feelings.
And I remember it's those wounds are still there. But I remember it was the day that I was willing to lose everything in my life to be happy.
And that's really powerful. That is really powerful. That's really powerful. And you have so much strength as a person. And it just comes out in so many different ways in what you do and what you believe in.
Well, it's definitely just understanding that I can take on life and I can accomplish anything I put my mind to.
And you can.
And I try.
You do. You do. I know that you do. So you mentioned that you're involved with different organizations. Can you mention a couple or mention the ones that you're currently helping?
Actually, I'd like to mention a couple that I was involved with before moving.
Sure.
Just two right off the top, but one was Doves, Domestic Violence Education Services for Lake County. I was a proud member of the board there.
Wonderful.
I'm a huge supporter of, I believe, we have a lot of initiatives around anti-bullying and those kind of things. And really, that's learned behavior. And, so definitely there needs to be a lot of work done around bullying. But that really has led into, who these people become as adults and around domestic violence and same-sex domestic violence and, the things that we're not talking about. So I was really proud of the work that they were doing, and I was very happy to be a part of that. One of the other things that I was able to participate in before I was moved is I was a part of Leadership Montana.
Great.
Salish Kootenai College actually sponsored me, and I was one of 45-ish, I can never remember the exact number, one of 45 people that were chosen to participate in a statewide program in 2010. And so I'm a proud member of the class of 2010 of Leadership Montana. Myself and leaders from all over the state of Montana, we were together for 9 months. We would go visit different parts of the state so once a month. We would come together as a group. We would do team building. We'd go through some programs, but we'd also learn about the economy. We'd also learn about that part of Montana that we were visiting. And those friendships have been amazing. So and Leadership Montana is really about building capacity within our current leaders and really those people that are in the cusp of being our leaders in Montana.
Wow.
And I remember
That's great.
Oh, it was an amazing experience. Wow. And again, came from being here at SKC, but the one thing my first day though, we were at Big Sky, Montana. We're at a resort, and I'm walking in there. Again, I feel like that little kid going into Denver again. I go into this room of people, and I'm like, what am I doing here? We had politicians, we had presidents of companies, we had the CIO of banks and all these people. And I'm sitting here, what am I doing here? And our keynote was a Native American gentleman, gave an amazing keynote about Leadership Montana. And afterwards, I pulled him aside and I was talking to him and I said, I don't know if I can be myself and I don't know if I can trust these people. And it was one of those things, again, going back to some of the old, knee-jerk reactions.
And and I can identify a little bit with that because I always have to question that in whatever public realm that especially if it's a new people or new faces, I have to question that as well. So I kind of can relate to what you're saying. Yeah.
What was nice is he gave me some great advice.
What did he tell you? Share this wisdom with us.
It's simple wisdom. It's very simple wisdom, and I've said it to many people myself, but I needed it said to me. I needed that mirror put in front of me.
Sure.
And that is, be yourself.
That's true.
And I was. And, I made some amazing friendships during that process. And so there are people that I still consider to be dear friends today, years later. And so, again, it was that, testing, boundaries being pushed and realizing just be myself.
Well, I think that as with minority populations, including the people who are gay, I think that they're educators. I believe that they're educators within their own right as it relates to going out there and being themselves and who they are, because you're educating other people about what being gay is all about or whatever you choose to be. Well,
and it's just one of the, being gay is just one aspect of who I am as a person. I tell people I'm a complex person with simple needs in life. I want to be able to laugh. I want to be able to enjoy my life. And so, some of the other work that I'm doing now is, integrating some of that. We talk about education. I'm doing some projects on digital storytelling, working on some other projects with some other groups in Portland.
Great. That's wonderful. And you're also part of the De La Luna Foundation. I have to say that
Right.
too. He's the president, yes, of the board. What made you want to serve time or give your service to such organizations or groups?
I'm just a fan of, I shouldn't say fan, I'm a huge supporter of creating community. And really what I've learned more than anything is being able to have the knowledge to be able to have, one, the conversations, but two, being flexible enough and being available to people to have conversations and possibly be the catalyst to create a conversation and not be so black and white with Republican and Democrat or liberal or conservative, but be a person that can see people for themselves and not deal with the labels and not assume anything with any person like was done to me when I was a kid. You know, don't look at the outside of a person and just make assumptions. It's being able to go into an environment in a community and be able to have that conversation, and a lot of times the hard conversations.
So are you a person that likes to be in a box or out of a box?
I don't like boxes.
You don't like boxes?
I don't like boxes.
Tell me why.
Actually, one of my dear friends, who was, it's a funny story, but he was applying to be on, it was Real World, I believe. And he, during that process, he, when it went to age, gender, all the other things, he just put a big circle around the whole thing. And for me, that's a great imagery.
Great.
That's great imagery.
I like
for
that
the whole
very
thing.
much. Wow. So, Sam, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
See myself in 5 years. I would like to be working on a PhD by that time. I'd like to continue working. I currently work in the area of academic technology, integrating technology into education, and I'm having an amazing time in that, and would like to continue work in that. I'm working with the Latino population in Portland, working on video on palliative care, esaludtoday.com, which is a Latino health magazine that's online. I'm part of the editorial board. And so I'd like to continue my work within the minority communities and just working around human rights, equality, and in education.
Those are all really great goals, and I just want to thank you so much for being on the show. Do you have any closing remarks for our viewers?
I would say, again, the simple advice that was given to me, and that's be yourself.
Just be yourself. I like that very much. Thank you so much. Again, this is Sam Williams, and I'm Rosalinda de la Luna Long with Viewpoint. Thank you so much for viewing us once again. Really appreciate your support, and stay tuned for more segments of Viewpoint. Thank you.